On March 4, 1834, Nancy Greene was born into slavery in Montgomery County, Kentucky. The Civil War came and went, and in her early 30s, Nancy found herself a free woman. She headed north to Chicago, where she worked as a housekeeper and nanny for a judge, cooking for his family and taking care of his two young sons, Charles and Samuel Walker. So how did Nancy become Aunt Jemima? Let's fast forward to 1888, when a newspaper editor from Missouri named Chris Rhett teamed up with his friend Charles Underwood to buy a flour mill. The two men named their company the Pearl Milling Company, but there was a big problem. There were already too many milling companies selling too much flour, and there simply was not enough demand for it. What should they do with the extra flour they were sitting on? They decided to put the extra flour into a ready-made pancake mix, which they hoped would become the world's first self-rising, just-add-water pancake mix. To represent their groundbreaking baking product, which contained wheat, corn flour, phosphates, baking soda, and salt, Chris created the character of Aunt Jemima, a maternal, friendly cook who wore a bandana and an apron. He took her name from Old Aunt Jemima, a minstrel song composed by Billy Kersands, an African-American songwriter and performer. While they were working to perfect their recipe, Chris and Charles faced an even bigger problem. They were running out of money for their business. They decided to cut their losses and sell the company to R.T. Davis, the owner of a successful mill and manufacturing company in Missouri. So Davis took over, and that's where Nancy comes in. Davis was preparing to promote the new pancake mix product at the 1893 World's Fair, an exposition in Chicago that celebrated the 400-year anniversary of Christopher Columbus's arrival to the New World. For Davis, the exposition was an important opportunity to get his product in front of tens of thousands of people, and he wanted it to be perfect. Davis needed someone to serve as Aunt Jemima, the company's model, spokesperson, and symbol. Somehow, perhaps through her employer, the Walker family, Davis found the 60-year-old Nancy and convinced her to audition for the role of Aunt Jemima. Nancy got the part, and she agreed to demo the pancake mix in character as Aunt Jemima, a former plantation slave. Nancy's warm personality and culinary skills made Aunt Jemima a hit at the World's Fair. She demoed the pancake mix, served flapjacks to thousands of people, and entertained crowds with her storytelling and singing. Nancy and her pancakes were so popular that police reportedly had to stand guard near her booth to control the crowds, who were all curious about Aunt Jemima and her pancake mix. Davis sold over 50,000 orders of the mix, and organizers of the World's Fair gave Nancy a special medal for outstanding showmanship. Davis was ecstatic. He had no idea Nancy, as Aunt Jemima, would be so popular with the throngs of people at the fair. Davis hired Nancy to be the company's spokeswoman, and the Aunt Jemima character she portrayed grew so popular with customers that Davis renamed his company from the R.T. Davis Mill and Manufacturing Company to the Aunt Jemima Mills Company in 1914. In her role as spokeswoman, Nancy made appearances to promote the brand and lent her likeness to the packaging. Davis even sold Aunt Jemima cloth and paper dolls, expanding the merchandise line to members of Aunt Jemima's fictional family. When she wasn't working to promote the pancake mix, Nancy was involved in her Baptist church and funded charity programs to fight poverty. In the fall of 1923, a few months before her 90th birthday, Nancy was standing on a Chicago sidewalk when a car hit her. Sadly, she died in the accident. After Nancy's death, the Aunt Jemima Mills Company struggled, and Davis sold the company to Quaker Oats in 1926. Other African-American models and actresses went on to portray Aunt Jemima in promotional materials and television spots. Many people view the Aunt Jemima character as a racist representation, one that idealizes slavery and Southern plantation life. The depiction of the character has evolved over the years, trying to move away from the derogatory plantation mammy image to a more anodyne one. Despite the character's negative connotations, you can still find Aunt Jemima pancake mix, as well as syrup, grits, and cornmeal on store shelves today. If you have an idea for what you'd like to see in a future episode, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching Sticky Figures. Stay tuned for more informative and fascinating facts about notable figures and events from history.